You know, in sports, it's not always about the final win. Sometimes, the most incredible stories are about the fight itself. And today, we're talking about one of the most unbelievable, gut-wrenching, and truly heroic final stands you will ever see. The Indiana Fever's do-or-die Game 5.
I mean, really think about that. What does it actually look like when your back is so far against the wall, you've got nothing left to give, and you keep fighting anyway? Well, the Fever's last game of the season might be the best answer you'll ever find. So let's get into it. So to really get why this one game was such a big deal, you have to understand the backstory. This team had absolutely no business being here. It was their first semifinals in a decade, and they got there after wading through a season that was just brutal. We're talking 6 season-ending injuries. That's enough to tank any team. They lost their star rookie Caitlin Clark earlier in the year. Everybody, and I mean everybody, had written them off. And somehow, they clawed their way to a winner-take-all Game 5 against the juggernaut.
All right, so that's the setup. Everything on the line. One single game. The bruised and battered Indiana Fever, the team that shouldn't even be there, versus the Las Vegas Aces for a spot in the WNBA Finals. And let me tell you, they did not just roll over. The Fever came out absolutely swinging. Players you might not expect had to step up, and boy, did they. You had Shey Peddy coming off the bench, giving them these huge, energetic minutes right from the jump. They were sending a message. We are here to fight.
But just when it felt like they had a real shot, like they were proving they belonged on the stage, the absolute unthinkable happened. In a season that was already just defined by injuries, they were about to take the biggest hit of all.
And this all centered around Kelsey Mitchell. And look, we're not talking about just some role player here. She was a finalist for League MVP. She was having an absolutely monster breakout season. Kelsey Mitchell was the engine, the heart, the soul of this team. She was the one who dragged them this far. And then, this. It's just brutal to watch. She drains a 3, and you can just see her grabbing at her knee. The very next possession, she can't even stand up on her own. She has to lean on a ref just to stay upright. And then you see this incredible moment. Players from both teams, the Aces included, rush over with towels to give her some privacy. She completely refuses the stretcher. Talk about a fighter to the very end. But it's over. She's helped off the court, and just like that, their leader is gone.
So with Mitchell gone, all the pressure, I mean all of it, shifts to their other star, Aliyah Boston. But as one crisis hits, a whole new one was already bubbling up to the surface.
By halftime, you could already see another huge problem on the horizon. Aliyah Boston was in foul trouble. 3 fouls. For a player this important to their defense and their offense, that's a massive deal. It meant she had to sit at a crucial point right before the half.
Then, boom, early in the fourth quarter, it gets so much worse. Boston picks up her 5th foul. There's still over 9 minutes left to play. She's now one tiny mistake, one bad call away from being out of the game entirely, leaving the Fever with none of their stars. I mean, this puts the coach in a completely impossible spot. What do you even do? You keep Boston on the Aces superstar A'ja Wilson because she's your best defender, but you risk her fouling out instantly? Or you take her off Wilson and you basically just give the 4-time MVP a free pass to score? It's a total no-win situation.
And then, it happened. The worst-case scenario. With only 26 seconds left on the clock, in a tied game, Boston gets called for her 6th foul. She's out. Gone. The Fever are now heading into the final seconds of their season without either of their best players.
Okay, but this is where the story goes from being a tragedy to an absolute legend. Because without their leaders, with everything going wrong, the Indiana Fever did not fold. They did something incredible. They fought back.
And if you don't believe me, just look at the numbers. It's right there in black and white. In that fourth quarter, when they had every reason to give up, they didn't just compete, they dominated. They outscored the powerhouse Aces 23-15. They were just refusing to lose. So it all comes down to the final play of regulation. Tie game, the Aces have the ball. Jackie Young drives to the hoop for the game winner, and she misses it. A layup. The Fever survive. Against all logic, against all odds, they are going to overtime.
But, you know, sometimes heart and grit can only carry you so far. The gas tank eventually runs empty. And in overtime, the final chapter of this amazing story was written.
So in the end, the Aces did pull it out, 107-98. And you have to give them credit. A'ja Wilson was incredible with 35 points. But you gotta look at the Fever's box score. Odyssey Sims, who had to step into a massive role, absolutely balled out, dropping 27 points. Just a heroic effort.
Just stop and think for a second what they were up against in overtime. No Kelsey Mitchell, no Aliyah Boston. Just a roster of fighters going up against a team that had 2 different players score over 30 points. It was an impossible ask. The miracle wasn't winning the game. The miracle was that they even got it to overtime in the first place.
And that really brings us back to the big question here. Yeah, their season ended with a loss on the scoreboard, but when you look at everything they went through, all the injuries, all the setbacks, and the way they fought tooth and nail in that final game, can you really call that a failure? Or was it something else entirely? Something that shows you what true heart in sports really looks like?